Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Foxchair, on the show tonight as the two friends. Yes, I say it again, the two friends. Big Stevie and Southside, how we doing, gentlemen?
Aye, good Ox. Good to be on with a big muck of the night and your good self. And good evening to everyone listening in this evening.
I would just like to say good evening to all the listeners. It's Wednesday night. The Dream Team are back.
The Dream Team. How are you, Big Stevie?
I'm really delighted with my team. Yes, I'm happy days. Yep, it's good as something to build on, Ox. Good result. Gets a really good team.
How are you, Southside?
Aye, I'm all right, mate. Good to be still in the tie, I suppose, at the end of the game last night.
I'm sure we'll discuss it as the night goes on, but I was asking how you two were.
Aye, well, we're fine. Isn't we, big man? We're fine. We're looking forward to Saturday.
Yep. Oh, look forward to our wee trip. Yep. Sure we'll have a wee game of bingo up the back seat of that bus, yes.
Oh, that's done. Have you still got your own dabber, Southside?
Aye. And Sudoku's coming and all.
All right, okay. Right, let's turn our attention to the last night's game. Now, would it be fair to say that you two gentlemen have seen the tie and the performance slightly different? Would that be fair?
Aye.
We're happy with that. Right, but that's what it's all about. Everybody sees the game slightly different, right? So I'm going to go with Southside with how he's seen the game, and then Stevie, you come in with how you've seen the game, all right? So, yep. Southside, on you go, mate. The floor's yours.
Last night, I thought we started all right for about 5 minutes. And then I thought we just got dictated against the whole game, more or less, in the first half. Disappointed that we sat with the three holding midfielders so deep. I don't think we really had a go at all. I was disappointed with it. I know they're a good team. I know they've got some good players. But I think when you're at home at Ibrox, you've got to go and have a go at some point. And we got a goal through them making a mistake with a wee bit of pressure that actually we had players up the park at that time to shut them down. I was just disappointed, mate. I know the result's a good result. It's 2 each and we're still in the game, and by all accounts it usually goes like that, and then we win the away game. But I thought the way Beale spoke before it and his presser and how he was setting the team up and how we were going to attack them, and I don't think we really attacked them at all, and that's my honest opinion.
What was the objective, you think, last night, Southside? What were you think the objective was, and what do you think Beale's objective was last night?
Well, listening to him before it, he said he was going to play at Ibrox and then he'll set it up for the second leg. I thought we sat in, probably gave them the ball, too much respect, I think, at times. And we let them control the play round about us. And note was, I know Butland didn't have a great deal today. Neither did their goalkeeper in the first half. No. And we scored a wonder goal. It was a cracking goal, don't get me wrong. I just feel a bit disappointed. I thought we were going to go and have a right sort of go at them, and we didn't.
How would you change the setup, mate? What would you have done differently? Definitely.
I don't know. I'm still a bit peed off about it, to be honest, mate. If you give me time, I'll maybe think about it. But right. I thought during the game, when if anybody out there that's listening and I was at the game, Sif Wentis was screaming to get took off that park after 60 minutes.
60 minutes, mate.
You know, and just things like that. But I just thought in the first half we looked disjointed. We couldn't keep the ball. We couldn't play 4 or 5 passes. A couple of times we worked it out down the left, right. I know we worked it out. But no, I was just disappointed with how we sat. I know we sat in, and that just annoyed me, mate. We're Rangers at Ibrox in a European time. We're sitting in, really.
Do you know what? Do you know why I want you to come back with how you would have set up? Do you know why? Because I value your opinion, right? Right, Stevie, in you come. These your thoughts.
Right, see, before a ball's kicked here, cast your mind back to the last show the us three were on. You said PSV's favourites, correct? Is that correct, guys?
I had them slight favourites, yes.
Yeah. Look, most of the Rangers support had PSV. Well, and some of the Rangers fans, like my friend Robert Willow for East End, he had it slaughtered. Absolute Hawthorne and Portal before a ball was kicked. And I said to you on that show, I like the fact that everybody was making Rangers underdogs and making them favourites. They done the same with the last time we played them and we get through that. Now, the way I see the game is plain and simple. Southside's right. They came and they dictate the play. So that's what they spend 15 and 20 million pound on players for, so that they can dictate games. They're a good European team. They're a good football team, PSV. And you could see that last night in that first half when the way they were keeping the ball. But unfortunately for PSV, unfortunately for Rangers, is possession does the win you games, goals do. And we got the goal. And I thought, once we got that goal, we were just as good as them. And what Big Seamer's finish was sublime. You get into the second half, they get the goal back, fair dues, and you could say it was this, it was that. But it was a great dummy for the boy.
Nice dummy.
Oh, what is it? He took the Rangers' defence out with it.
It was a nice dummy. If we'd have done that, we'd have been saying it was wonderful play.
It was a nice bit of football, yes. And the boys stuck it away well. Nothing our keeper could do. And then we a brilliant piece of football to get in Big Desert, slid that ball through. What an inch perfect pass. And the wee man stuck it away first time now. If that's Sakala, he's taking too many touches. He's touching that and touching that again. That wee man took that first time, bent it right in. Absolutely top class finish. And then we get down the part, and lo and behold, it hits the boy's shoulder. He's heading between his shoulder and he's in the net. See if that game would have went on 10 minutes more last night. I thought we looked a bit likely that it would have finished at 1-3-2. We looked the more dangerous team at the end of that game. And as we were all saying before a ball was kicked, we just hope the team can leave it out there in the park and geese everything I've got. And I thought they'd done that, Ox. I thought they'd done that. Is the tie still on? Of course it is. Well, a lot of Rangers fans never even give us a chance. A lot of Rangers fans out there should go and look in the mirror, as that team played not too bad in periods of that game last night. The first half were woeful, I agree. There should have been maybe some changes the second half right away with the boy Desert, Cervantes. He was breathing. He was looking to be took up. Not just him. There was one or two others he might have took up. But fair play to the substitutes who came on. They made a wee impact.
I thought Lundstrom done all right this time on the park. I'm not his biggest fan, but I thought he done all right last night. Yeah,
he's great. Cantwell. Listen, there was a lot of good players for us last night, and it's key to something to build on. It's really good. Sometimes we've got to have a wee reality check. I know we're Rangers and I know we're at Ibrox in Europe, and we shouldn't be kind of sitting in. And I get well, some of that frustration's coming. Just the same as I get with maybe some of the setup as well. People are not happy with it. You've got to change it when you see it's not working. I get that, but overall, the tie makes people give us their chance, including the media. But that's always got to be the same with them, isn't it? But,
all right, okay. So you there was a lot.
Thank you.
And now Southside, boo. Oh, sorry.
Listen, I know we're trying to build a team and all that, right? And I get all that, right? But this was a European game last night, and see, to be honest, we were running about that part. They were tiring us out. See the way they were playing football? That's the way I want to see us play football.
Correct.
Quick 1-2 passing. We were passing balls 20, 30 yards to players. We're no in together. They're no trying to look for 1-2s. Many times we just punt that ball up the park to an empty. We can't walk the ball out for walking it out if they want to play this out of defence. We're no good at that now either. We watched it the other night. And they were chasing our players. When Cantwell got the ball, they had 2 and 3 round about them straight away. They done it with Tav when he got the ball in the wing.
What would you do if you were opposition? What would you do if you were opposition and you got the ball? What player would you make sure when you have time in our team at the moment?
Probably in our team now, if you're probably looking at Cantwell.
Exactly. So
right, I get that. But if they're using 2 and 3 players to run at him, we should be able to quickly shift the ball and open up space. I just thought we never went on the attack really, and I just thought if that's what Michael Beale, when I listened to him, I thought, right, we can have a sort of go at them here, right? We know we're going to be opened at times. We know the way he sets the system. We've seen it. And even Cifuentes last night, Tav's, I mean, when they were getting the ball and you're looking at the way we set up our defence, Tav's in beside Golson. And the minute the ball goes out wide, he's got to then shift. But Cifuentes is meant to be there because they two on that side at times. We've seen it all last night. He's 30 yards away because he's in the middle of the park. And then he's got to shift across. I don't get that. They one of that much space. And if they've got pace the way they had it, I'll be honest though, Tav and Borna done well for getting booked so early in the game. And I thought Borna actually done quite well last night. I thought he done well against... I
think he was up against a better player.
Aye, but at the same time, when he's shutting down or he's in a corner, nobody's coming to help him. Nobody's coming to look for the ball inside. We're all standing 20 yards away from players in the ball. I don't get that. So then we're just lumping the ball up the park. And the one thing we keep saying is don't lump the ball up the park in Europe. Because you get it back, it's usually either a by kick or you're picking it up out your net. This is where you get punished. But I don't know. I was just frustrated with the whole game. And it's all right saying Cantwell was good, Stevie. And he done one bit in the game. But that was his only bit he done. He could have been sent off. He's getting caught in the middle of the park with 3 players when he could have played the ball out wide.
He ran a tight line with the yellow card.
I don't think he had a big influence in the game apart from the one wee bit when he flicked it on the faded goal. And it was a good move and it was good. Right, I get all that. That was the only really thing. Apart from Tav early in the first minute, the second off, and near the end, because they were tired by the looks of it. We weren't really in this game. As much as everybody seems to think we created loads of time. Saved did our goalie have? Do you know how we played better against them a year before with that team than we did last night?
No, not really, mate. Because I've looked back at that and I thought about that last night, mate. And if you think about it, we got a big slice of luck in that game with the Lawrence free kick, mate.
Yep.
And they scored two goals for corners, if I remember. Both their goals came for corners last year.
And
they did have a lot of the ball as well, and I think there was a lot of similarities between the game. Yeah, but I think I'll check out. I'll see if I can find the stats just to see what the possession was last year.
I was trying to think back. I think it was the only time Butland never came out for the cross in the corner, and the boy got the shooter or the whatever it was doing it.
I'll tell you how I seen it. I agree with Southside that we started the first couple of minutes. We started on the front foot, and then slowly they got the ball. I think we were quite happy to let them have possession, say at the halfway line approximately, and then we were getting people behind the ball. But the problem with that is when you do get the ball, it's got to stick with your front players. I mean, you do get possession, you've got to keep it. And I was Seema, who scored a wonder goal, an absolute wonder goal, was frustrating me with his runs, and we know he's got pace. And in particular, with you outside in the first half, there was about 2 or 3 opportunities you had to go down that left and show his pace and just keep it simple. One on the right as well, when you went wide again. Like, if you're meant to have pace, you just go direct. So the learning curve for that team for me was when you've got possession, you have to keep it. Raskin, he shows a lot of energy. He reads the ball well in the midfield. A criticism, his passing's not great. Yeah, but he's only young and hopefully will improve. He's playing against better players than we play against week in, week out. The thing that I do agree with Stevie is we asked them that we wanted them to lay everything out in the park and work hard for the jersey. Southside, I think they've done that.
Aye, we chased the ball all through the first half and good chunks of the second half. Aye, I get all that. And listen, we're still in the tie, and as the omens go, hopefully we'll be there next Wednesday and we'll get the victory. But if we go and try and play the way that he played last night, then they're at home. They'll be up with their crowd and that. And you're inviting the pressure to come on to you when you're leaving it the way it is. You need to get in and try and set about them and get in amongst them. But we'll see. But I was just disappointed overall with our performance. But I get the fact that we're still in the tie. We got a 2-each draw. And if you probably look at it in the big picture, for the new players and that, it's probably a good result against PSV. who are that decent team, but I just think we gave them a bit too much respect last night in time in the ball.
Let's be honest, they're not going to win that competition. Yeah.
No, but they could cause a lot of teams problems.
Aye, and we're causing them problems, and hopefully we get a bit of luck, because you need to carry luck at times, and we can get through. But we'll see where it takes us. Look, the second half started, Stevie, and we did score a good goal, and there was some positives. Listen, I wouldn't have played Goldson last night. I wouldn't have played him before the game started. I thought he didn't look fit on Saturday. Made me eat my words last night. Made me eat my words, and he didn't do anything spectacular. Kept it simple. He came in one headers. He showed desire. He was brave.
Experience.
Shocks.
Total experience. He knows. He can read things. He's been there a million times. Many games in Europe, he put the jersey on. The experiences. You need every bit of experience, especially when you're going to Eindhoven here about a big game. And can I just cast your memory back to the last tie too? It was through us closing them down in the rain ground where we got the goal to take us through the tie, where it was a mistake by them. But the bottom line is, we're there to punish people that make mistakes. And last night, Southside's right. They had all the possession. We were running about. They had keep ball and we were running about. But you've got to admire the Rangers team's determination. They kept going. They kept running. They did everything. And they've given us something to work on, Ox. We've got a base now. We've lifted the bar a bit from where we were. And we've got a platform now to take that on. I mean, look at Matondo in the last few games. He was nowhere. He wasn't even in the equation. And now he must be in Beale's thinking. Now it must be hard for Beale to say, well, who am I starting with here? Because I'll tell you, Matondo should maybe get rewarded the way he's been playing by getting in that team, and maybe Saturday bring Simo in the second half. Do it opposite way about. Give the boy a wee reward for playing so well. Because he's played with no too bad in the last few games. But my God, the Rangers fans, we've got to give the Rangers team a wee bit of praise here, man. Everybody's saying we're disappointed, and I'm listening to people telling certain players apart. At the end of the day, they're big deserts, right? He got 2 assists last night, but everybody's saying, he was rotten, he was this and that. He was haggling these defenders. He's up against the 20 and 30 million quid defenders. We've no spent that. What did we spend? We made money on 6 million quid, 6.5, something like that. We spent our Maystone. They were signing players at between 15 and 20 million quid. We've got to remember that too. When we're saying that we're running about like headless chickens, but you're going to be if you're playing against players that are 20 and 30 million quid.
Right, so
Has everyone gone nuts? Who the hell do you think you are?
Well, if I've got that money, Stevie, then that means Ox is right. And if you had them slight favourites, then is it no?
That's how I had them slight favourites, because of their recruitment, mate.
I don't have anybody favourites when they come to Ibrox. When we're at home, no. Your heart always overrules your head. It should anyway. Rangers, you always should have as a win at Ibrox against MD before you get in there. Why would you want to go to the game if you think you're going to get battered?
No, you know. Listen, you go there.
Rangers are in your heart. They don't just there for periods of time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're talking sense.
What you're saying to me, Southside, you can't pick and choose when you're a supporter. Is that what you're saying?
Listen, Bill, we know, right? People can think what they want, but I always go and believe Rangers can beat anybody at Ibrox. You know, you're going to the game or anywhere we go. When we're there next week, we'll still be good enough to go there and beat them. I'm just saying that performance last night disappointed me because he gave me a build-up before it, and I thought, I think we could have...
Come on, get off that fence. How did you set up?
I'd have set up with a 4-5-1, as I've said in Europe. That's what I'd have done. And then we've got the players to spring, because if you're going to play against a team that you think's going to dominate the ball against you, well, you don't want to go in with 3 midfielders and have them dominating the ball.
What would your 5 have been? Lundstrom and Cantwell. Who up front? Who's your top?
I might have actually played Dow in there. So I think he gives you a bit more diet and a bit more energy and might have got you up the park with the ball in a midfield role.
He can hit a ball too.
He might have had a strike, and I would probably have put Cantwell in there with him and kept Raskin, Cifuentes and Jack with Dill and Cantwell and played Dessers. Dessers was right, Stevie. He ran his heart out up there. He didn't have a lot today, but he was up there challenging, fighting, and he was chasing boys down, and he done some power of running. And just before he was due,
he didn't get a chance. He didn't get a chance.
No, he had nothing. He had nothing, you know. And the thing was, when he was just about to come off, he signalled across to the bench, and then just about a minute later, Cantwell gets on that ball and takes the other boy and plays it to Dessers, and he plays that great ball into Matondo. But he'd signalled to come off.
I tell you what, I did look at last night's game, Southside. Danilo will not be able to lead the line as a one. I
don't think so. I think Blue Star mentioned that he wanted to know who was the number 9 at Rangers, and I think the guy wears number 9. He's been playing most weeks through the middle, and it's Dessers. I don't think he's a bit lightweight. I think he can play off somebody around about him, and he'll score. But no, I don't see him as leading the line as a number 9. No, against most of the centre backs that you'll face in Europe.
Right, we're going to have a poll. So the poll is in the blue corner. We have the South Side. In the orange corner with the blue stripes, we have Big Stevie. Right? Okay. How are we going to word this to get it?
Oh,
yes, mate.
Can I give you an exclusive?
Yes, mate.
Rangers ladies 2, Hearts ladies 1. What a game!
Thank you. It's not been a great night for Edinburgh football, is it?
Definitely no. I heard they get slaughtered.
Right. So what's the word? How do we word this? I would just keep it simple. Was it a good performance or a bad performance? Yes or no? Yeah. Yeah.
No, because most people just thought aye, because we got a 2 each draw.
Well, how do you want to word it then? I'll let you pick it.
Do you think we should have had a better? Do you think we should have stood up and had a go at them? No, than sit and defend and let them own the ball and dictate a game against us at Ibrox.
I'll give you the benefit of the doubt.
Well, we can only put 12 words in our poll, mate.
Okay. Should we have had a go? There you
go. There you go.
Right, here we go. Old school boys know that. Who makes the more sense? Stevie or Southside?
Come on, the Rangers. Come on.
You know what's going to happen here, don't you? He's more pals than me, isn't he?
Get me go with excuses. You're starting to sound like somebody for the East End of the city.
I'll be right. Don't you start that nonsense.
That nonsense for Chester's get more pals than you.
Hey, Chester Zoo.
Right, where are we? Right, look, I think there's a bit of everything, and I get it. Southside, you're there, and you want us to go. And I think there's always, if you think even, it's striking the balance, yeah. And I was frustrated at times, particularly doing that left-hand side when we come down, and I think the ball should have went to Seaman. I thought his run was wrong, and Raskin had the ball a couple of times, and the ball was 1 metre Borna. He turns inside and gives it away, and then you don't get the ball back for 5 minutes. But that's Europe, isn't it?
Can I also say, you've got to remember too, it's the first leg of the tie. They've come out and they're trying to find each other, feel each other out, see what's what. And they kept the ball well. We had a wee couple of minutes at the start, and then they kept the ball well, and we just couldn't find our feet with them. And then when we got the goal, we did. And I would say the second half, we were the better team. I really do. And if the game went on any longer, there was only one team going to win it. And you've got to give your boys a bit of credit for coming in and finding each other. They're still finding the way each other plays units and pairs within the team as units. So you've got to give them a wee bit of credit here, guys. Come on, man. We can be hard.
Can you shoot that argument down in one bit quite quickly, Stevie? Could you turn around and say they played a guy on the left-hand side of the midfield who signed for them on Monday?
Could you? You probably could.
Aye.
But
Playing devil's advocate for you, could you not say that the way we played this season, we looked like a team last night. We looked as if we've got a bit of desire to work for each other. And there was those shoots of improvement. Would that be fair, Southside?
Yep, the bar was set.
Aye, like you could turn it round and say that's what we normally do against teams on a Saturday week in, week out in the league. That's the way it should be, right? And in Europe, we don't hold. I just thought we didn't hold the ball well last night in spells. I thought throw-ins were terrible again. Nobody showing, flinging it up a line. This thing still don't look.
Throw a ball, mate.
Maybe no, but see if people are not coming and showing for it. Look, I watched them every time they'd a throw in. I watched them to see they flung it back to their centre back, and then next minute they moved it away across. You know, we didn't. We just want to fling it up lines and we're looking for two players. If you look at when your player picks the ball up and puts it above his head, look where the Rangers player is. Look since the start of the season where they are. They're nowhere near it. And I don't know what the problem is, but. And you're going into Europe, you need to be bang on it because you're up against quality players. And I just thought we looked disjointed when we were on the ball. We couldn't pass the ball 5 or 6 passes and try and move it quickly up the park. Then they shut you down, but you expect that in Europe. But I just think I don't know. Most people probably, Steve will win the poll because we've drew tweets. And I'm happy we drew tweets, of course I am. But I'm just disappointed in the way we played the style of football. And let them dictate a game against us. I mean, you think you'd have done one in the first couple of minutes and gave them a boot? No.
You're not going to believe us. The polls and the preliminary results are in, yeah?
Already? Oh, that's
50.
That's rigged.
50-50.
50-50.
50-50, and I've got a casting vote, so I need to go for Southside, as you know, Steve.
Oh, Masonic boys again, huh? But listen, I agree with you, Southside, to a certain extent. I agree with you. We're lay too deep. We're letting them come at us. We weren't pushing up the park and hunting down. There was bits here. I was losing the plot with him too. See that one guy going to try and chase a ball up front himself, and them no doing it as a unit. You go for him, and then we'll press. They were pressing with one guy, and they just kept hitting the ball by him. It's so easy.
Was that a Chinese player, one guy?
What?
Was that a Chinese player, one guy?
See the one with the left Raskin and Jack and was it Cantwell's, the three of them or something like that together. They played 2 passes. And they took out 3 of your players, and what I seen, I had to look, and they were off, and they 3 were looking at each other as if, what happened there? I was like schoolboy stuff. I mean, football's a simple game. It's called pass and move.
Right.
So when did we ever pass and move?
We'll get these phone lines open, right? Okay.
Yeah, they'll make some sense here. Let's carry on. Me and him, hammering tongues. May I get you up the back of that bus Saturday?
Yeah, you're not getting up the back seat now. You'll be down the front with the numpties.
Oh dear. Let's hear.
Lying piece of sack of shit, slut, trash can, scummy, dirtbag, bitch.
We've been took early night with something, aye?
Aye, Fox is on it, by the way. I've got an exclusive about Fox, but I can't tell he's there till 9 o'clock.
Oh, is that? Oh, is there an exclusive, is there?
Exclusive. The Adventures of Fox is a belter. Right, let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Can I just say, am I allowed to come in?
Aye, there you go.
Can I just say, another fine display for the UB last night. Absolutely. As the old saying goes, colours we are fine. It was absolutely beautiful. What a display. Well done. And it said at the bottom, you know what it said at the bottom, mate. So, and that's the way, surrender or you'll die. And I thought that our team never surrendered last night. I thought we kept going and kept going. There was only one lightly winner for all 5 minutes to clock. We'd have got one. Teddy Version.
You're not repeating yourself. Come on, you've made your point. You're doing all right.
Okay.
But you're repeating yourself.
50-50, that's an
That's
offence
no
stuff.
bad. That's no bad. Anyway, we've been joined by the voice of reason, one of life's gentlemen. He'll give his honest view on it. Evening, George.
How you doing, Ox? How you doing, boys? All right?
All right.
Okay, Logan.
How you doing, George boy?
George,
Listen,
I'm going
by
to
the
have to
way,
ground
guys.
these two. I'm going to have to ground the two of them.
I can see it coming. It's not even bedtime, you Ox. I can see it coming already, by the way. But hey, by the way, Stevie, you're bang on. I'm agreeing with Stevie. Right, you say that they're about Union Bears. Let's go back to the fans, the manager, the goalkeeper. I've got a goalkeeper that can actually come out and grab a ball now in the air. It's a fantastic thing to watch, by the way. And it's easy for the let's pick out somebody that wasn't good last night. I'm not going to do that. I think we were all good last night. The fans, the place was rocking. We came up against a right good team. In the first 15 minutes, I thought we could take a bit of pummeling here, to be fair. We stood up against it. We got a 2-each draw. I thought they were excellent last night. I thought the manager done excellent last night with substitutions. The boys that came on done well for us. I honestly think it was a team coming together last night, Ox. That was my opinion. I think I said it the other night. I think a few folk have said it. We've had brought in good players, good positions. We can't bells. I think he's just absolutely fantastic to watch. And that last night, I think we became a better team. Now, the big thing for me is, Ox, can we kick on Saturday and the following week and things like that? I'm not saying we've got to go out there and beat them. I don't know if we will, because they're a cracking team, buying players for 15 million and things like that. That's probably where we want to dream about buying players. But we've brought in a good team, and I think we've got a nucleus of right good, making a good team here. And I think we can go and do well this season with these guys.
Southside.
I agree with some, George. I thought Ibrox was rocking at the start. Then once they were on the ball, George, and dictating it, I looked in the stands, and apart from noon again, the Copeland having a sing song just before the goal or just after the goal, I thought Ibrox was pretty flat for a good bit of the first half, and they were dictating the play, to be honest. But once we scored in that and going off at half time and that, the place was bedlam. But I think we worked hard. I don't know if it's the team coming together. I don't get that now. I still think we look a bit disjointed in that here and there, and at certain parts of our play we need to get better. But result-wise, George, fantastic. But many times have we seen... I mean, George, when was the last time you seen a team come to Ibrox and absolutely dominate the play against us in Europe in the last wee while?
I think is
and no have a go at them.
I think they're a really, really good team, that's the thing. I think they're a really, really good team, and I think, in my honest opinion, I agree with what you're saying, have a go at them, but I think if we had a go at them last night, I think they could have picked us off at any second. I mean, that wee boy in the wing, the wee left wing boy and the wee right winger, I think they were absolutely fantastic, and that would be my big fear, Southside. If we had tried to take a go at them, I ken you always want to go and you want to take a go or Rangers, and that's the way it is. But I think if we had a go at them last night, Southside, I think they could have really picked us off if they wanted to. I really think they could have.
Got the tactics right, George?
What's that, sorry?
You think the manager got his tactics right?
I think he did, Ox. I think he did. It's easy for folk to come on here and say, Ken, we can pick bits off and that. And I'm the one of the guys, I try and be positive every single time. We could maybe say, Tav was probably out position for getting away the foul, maybe step back. But I'm not going to do that. I think the manager was great last night. I think the goalkeeper, the defence, I think we were all brilliant last night. I heard folk today and on the way home in the bus and that last night, slaughtering Big Dessers. He set up 2 goals, and I think he looked quite strong. He came. I thought he took a bit again for us last night. So for me, I think it was all positive. I can people always say to me, "Oh, you've got blue tinted glasses." I can't help that. But honestly, I think everyone is, for the fans, the players, the Union Bears, unbelievable last night. I thought we were going to take a bit of scudding last night after looking at the Kilmarnock game, the game on Saturday, and that. And I was quite proud of my team last night, Ox. I really was.
All right, just to let you know, the latest in the poll was Southside with 52%, Stevie with 48%.
That's just rigged. It's rigged. I'm telling you right now. What Masonic halls are you sending us to? I'm telling you you're rigging us.
This is what happens with democracy. When they don't win, they shout and ball. Sounds like Trump, doesn't he?
Listen, hold on a minute.
So we're getting all right. Well, hold on you go.
He said to Jamba, get all your pals on that Facebook.
No, listen, Big George has come on there, right? and he said he's back. He says he agrees with me. Now listen, there's bits of it in that I don't think ever it was a team coming together, but I'll tell you what it has done, George. It's good as a platform. It's raised the bar for where we were, and it's good as a platform now to go forward. Do you not agree with that?
I think that's exactly what it has done. I think we've got a platform now we can kick on now, and I think what I'm saying is I think I can see the makings of a team, Stevie. Where I think before with Cantwell, Rask, you could see players there, but now I can start to see the start of a team like 3 games in and folk are shouting for Deal Seed and that. No, that's definitely not my way of life. Like, I want this team to get better and look better and come stronger, and I think we're starting to see that last night. I think there's still room for improvement, Steve. With a couple of players, I think we could still be bringing in a couple of players in, but I think there's positivity there for me, Stevie, definitely.
George, can I do something? George, what did you make of the 2 centre-backs last night?
Oh, I can usually got Hinkle Blue into glasses. I thought that I'm going to say this. I thought Big Golson was outstanding, and I actually think that Suter was just slightly better than him. I thought the two of them were commanding, strong, and I had a bit of worry the other night. You're thinking, has he not got to play with Golson? Has he maybe got to pull Golson out of this because he's maybe no fit? Big Golson was like a man mountain for me last night. I thought he was absolutely outstanding. The boys that were working today saying, big centre forward, he's played with Newcastle and Barcelona and that. He's not very good. Aye, not very good. Boys a world beater like, and Big Golson had in his pocket last night. That's my opinion, and I thought Big Suter was just slightly better than him last night.
Suter with that ball outside his foot. I think Bridgeman will be saying he's Franco Baresi.
Big man had a really good game again. It's just when he bursts out for the defence and he's on the left-hand side, Ox, he's limited. He's sort of normally go to sort of pass it to Borner and that. But
limited if he could use the outside these.
Aye, it was some pass. That was I didn't. When I was sitting, I thought, oh, that's going to go to the park. No, but what a ball! I thought he did a really good game last night. I've had a text from Hadji telling me I have to say Golson was immense. So, I know. That's what he told me. He was immense, and see how many times he just punted the ball up the park to nobody, honestly. But he had a decent game, I suppose. But the two of them were pretty good. And as I said, as George was saying, I think the two fullbacks done well, George as well. The fact that Borner and Tav took a booking, because we're up against the two boys and they were lightning, and I thought they done well, and I thought Borner had a decent game last night as well.
Oh, there's the positivity coming out of you now. It's all positive now, isn't it? Oh, after you're winning your poll, you're positive now. Now, listen, can I just say to the listeners, I'm not happy with this poll. Can I just say to the listeners, can you imagine if the Rangers get beat last night? Have a think about it. Our wee team done us proud last night. The support done us proud. Come on, man. Think about it, what you're doing here. Can you imagine if we beat last night?
George Logan, I hate grown men begging.
Well, can I say something, Hull? I'm not disappointed we got the draw. I'm just saying we should have had a go and a bit more effort and went up the park. I mean, see, at the end of the day, we ran through and we get the first time the guy falls on his arse and Seamer runs through. Right, that was a chance. He fell on his arse and we run through. And the other one, we get them with a bit of pressure to make a mistake and we score a cranking goal.
What's your language, please?
Sorry. But that's the only time. That's the only time, Stevie, we really threatened them in that first half. All I'm saying is, we're at home, right? And I thought we'd have had a bit. If we go there and play the same tactics, they'll just come at us all day and it might be a different result. We've got to go and have a go.
Yeah, I think I'll leave him. I'll leave him at the tune.
Don't you love him, Suicide? Don't love him.
Thank you, come, Davey boy.
Hi, how you doing, guys? That's great to hear. So I must compliment George on his points. Spot on. Yeah. I mean, some of the negativity I've been listening to over the last couple of days has depressed me. I mean, I could go on and on about and this. He's a dud. He's a dud. That's a dud. That was a great performance. End of. Everybody was making new Rangers were going to get 2, 3, 4 taken off them.
Yeah.
They were, all right, I can see where they're coming from about sitting, but I think if we'd have went at them gung-ho, they tore the pants off us. Because they had that one-touch football. They were a great team. You can't take that away from them. But, I mean, it's great to hear some positivity. The negativity has been coming through, and they're slaughtering that team, they're slaughtering the manager. You've got to get behind them. And if you can't get behind them after watching that, and I'm not criticising certain individuals, but they need to start getting a grip of themselves and say, we've got to make a team here, but let it happen.
If we've got to make the team, Davey, we've got to make a team with the help of the support, get behind them, and we see where it goes.
Yeah, I don't know who it was that said that you're not a supporter for one game. You're a supporter for life. I'm 74-year-old. I've seen them for over 60 years. I've seen Mins and all the rest of it, but it doesn't come out and mean I'm going to tear them apart. I can criticise. You're allowed to criticise. But there's certain criticisms, I think, lately, it's just been, it's not welcome. No, for my ears.
Well done, David. Well done, David. That's what I'm going to say. The two apron wearers had David's favourites, and the boys came out and they gave their all. They left everything out in the park. They raised the bar, and they're starting to look like a team that's got to come good together. And you're right. The negativity on this show of lately has been nothing but shocking, as the Bridgeman would say. Absolutely shockers. The whole lot of them.
Just to let you know, the results are on Southside. The latest poll, it's Southside 9%, Stevie 10%.
I never tell you, I never have any negativity about the Rangers. I said they were a good team. They've got good wingers. They've got a good, decent striker. And and I thought that if you give them too much respect and too much time and space, of course teams will hurt you. Any team will.
Listen, don't your conscience bother you?
My conscience never bothers me, boy. Don't you even start. You'll be sitting. You're actually getting demoted to the woodwind section on the bus now, right? That's where you're going. And any merit, you'll no make it.
I'll be sitting with the driver.
Aye, you would put the CDs on.
I wasn't talking about you. I was talking about my other friend, Mr. Withrow. How disappointed am I to hear Robert saying, I'm not going to see my beloved Rangers the other night. That really got to me. Because no matter how bad, but we all still go and we all still do it. I know Beale's getting on his wick. I know Mr. Beale's getting on wee Robert's wick. But you never stop going because of maybe somebody in the team or the manager or whatever. You're there because you're there, and that's it. As Davey says, you don't switch it off and on. You're a bear forever, and that's it. Robert knows that. And I hope Robert comes on, because he'll be the first to say that the Rangers did play no bad.
I don't suppose he'd watch it, and I don't suppose he'd be going to the rest of the games with people there.
I'll take tickets.
People are saying this is Trump versus Biden, so I wonder who the old guy is. Right, George, in you come. You're the guy with the point of view.
I enjoyed the day as well. I was listening to him. I thought Cantwell was brilliant last night. A couple of daft tackles, fair enough, but I thought he was for the Matondo's goal. I thought his wee flick to play it to Dessers and then flick on it. I thought he was excellent last night. He got real battered in. But what pleased me even more, and again, the lad is living the dream. Me, you, Stevie, so every one of us here would love to be living the guy's dreams. Of course we would. But listening to that interview today, and you could hear the passion in him. I've never experienced that in my life before. Best place I've ever played and things like that. And then Butland said the exact same. These guys already, they were 2 and 3 games. I can't was there last season, but these guys have already taken to Rangers, and that's because us boys going and singing, getting behind them all the way, So I think we've got the makings of a good team there, and the fans and that have got to push these guys all the way, and I think we've got to have a few legends made of this team also. I really believe that.
Well, you're right. Well, listen, that's a great lead you've given us. We'll go to Todd Cantwell. Get yourself in me and let's hear from him.
matched. I thought we had some good spells and they had some good spells, and that's probably why we ended 2-2.
Is that some of the best spells of football you've played so far this season as a group?
Yeah, I'd say so. Obviously the manager, the players, everyone's been edging towards, give us more time and we'll start to show what we want to show. And I think tonight was a good step forward for that.
Is that the type of performance that you can really sort of build on and looking as if it was really starting to click out there?
Yeah, 100%. I think to be at home, to score 2 good goals and to obviously concede from a set piece is disappointing. So I think, overall, I think it was a reasonably good display from us.
Is that just the one frustration, conceding from a corner, not being able to hold on to the lead?
Yeah, it is a big frustration, and it's one that we've really held on to in the changing room. I think, like you say, we did play well at times, and we've got a really good challenge next week. But it's a bit frustrating to concede like that.
So talk us through that second goal. You managed to find Cyril and a fantastic finish from Robbie Matongo to capitalise on the transition, which had a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, no. It was a good counter attack. We spoke about that before. Sometimes they leave themselves a bit open, and it's nice to capitalise on something like that. Obviously, you've got a player like Robbie with that sort of speed. It wasn't a bad finish either. So yeah, to have him come on and score that is going to be great for him.
With so many new players, it's important to get results while you build. But do you feel that is a real performance to build on going into the weekend, going into next week?
Yeah, I feel like even the way you guys are asking me these questions, you kind of know the answers. You can tell that there was something to hold on to out there tonight. I think we showed the fans exactly what it is we want to get to, albeit in spells and not for as long as we'd like. But a team's not built over a couple of weeks. It needs a couple of months to really sort of marinate and show what we're about.
And what about the Ibrox atmosphere? Obviously, you've still only experienced a couple of European nights here. What was that like?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's an absolute honour to play for this football club. It really is. A lot of people say before you come up here, playing for Rangers, how is it? All of that. Tonight it was just amazing. It's something I'll hold on to for a long time, and I really do love pulling on that shirt.
Do you think that position when you're slightly higher up is your best position? Do you think it just depends on the game? Because we saw you play slightly deeper against Seville.
Yeah, no, I think players nowadays, they need to be able to play in a couple of different positions. The manager's spoken to me about that. He sees me as an 8. He sees me as a 10 as well. So in different games, effectively you're going to require different parts of my game. And yeah, naturally, me personally, I've always enjoyed getting high up the pitch and trying to affect it up there. Yeah.
You yourself seem to be not in what treatment do you think they pinpoint to?
I don't know. I think, I think, to be honest, I think sometimes I don't always help myself in the sense that, I'm a dribbler, so I'm always going to invite a tackle. But I'm not going to go and change my game, for anyone, for referees or anything like that. So yeah, listen, maybe, but I think if they did, it's a compliment.
You're hobbling off a bit at the end to get nothing to be too concerned about.
No, just a couple of knocks standard for me.
In terms of, let's ask you about social media. You'd obviously posted up that may as well all just delete social media at this point. Is moving to Scotland, has there been a sort of different reaction to you on social media than you maybe had down south in terms of what gets sent to you, what gets privately messaged to you?
No, I wouldn't say so. I think social media can be amazing and it can be really dangerous. I think there's a lot of sensitivity around social media. Just for clarity, there's no sensitivity from my end. I was just merely making a point that if a player can't post a photo of him smiling after, whenever he wants, really, if he can't post a photo, of himself smiling and that causes an upset, then what's the point in players having accounts? That's my stance.
I think people just take it a bit too seriously at times, social media and football.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be completely honest. I personally think that social media is quite a dangerous platform at times. I think there's not much responsibility for what people can put out, and to some people that can be really effective. So for me, I enjoy my social media. You guys know that. I post, I try to interact with the fans. I use it for the positive reasons, and I'll continue to do so.
Right, thanks for that. We've lost one of the callers, and unfortunately it's George.
Thanks a million. Oh, you're a cruelty man.
By the way, I was only kidding. The poll with China 90% Southside. It's still close.
I knew that.
Yeah.
He just built like a shark.
Oh, mate. Easy, eh?
Listen, I'm up against it. We used to all the time. I know the Stararabi Burns and all that area. I know what's going on. And I just hope all the listeners see a bit of sense at the end of the day. It was a good performance of our team, a good atmosphere in Ibrox, and we sold it to anybody that was watching must have went, wow, listen to that atmosphere, look at them all doing the bouncy, and you can believe it right now, Big Stevie was up there last salmon doing the bouncy with Jamba. At one point, my glasses ended up 3 rows down, there you go. I had to go down, get the phone light on and go down and look for my glasses, because I was loving every minute of it, man. Brilliant. That's what it was.
Listen, if you lost them, put a chitty into Brick, he'll refund you.
Ox, can I just say something?
Yes, mate.
It's a breath of fresh air listening to yourself in the dynamic duo. Because I'll tell you, your comments, the way you handle yourself, it's refreshing. And whether you're right or wrong, at the end of it, it's just refreshing. And I compliment you guys, compliment you to the heavens.
Listen, football's all about opinions. Everybody sees things slightly different, you know, and also you've got to critique what you see and be fair. That's my thoughts on the show. The heart does roll the head, and I get that's outside it.
Yeah, listen, your heart's always overrule your head. That's the way I see it, Davey. I don't fear no foe, Davey. You know, you've always got to go and believe that you can win. And listen, on the scale of things, it's a good result for the team. They're a far better quality opposition than what Servette was. I just thought on the night, I don't want to keep repeating it, but I just thought we could have went and had a wee bit more a go at times, and I think our play could have been linked up a bit better as well. That was it, really. But apart from that, I get the team's gelling, and I thought Dessler's done a pile of work. I thought he worked really hard up front. And I thought Butland, the only time I think he never came out for the cross ball at the corner was the one where they got the goal. And for me, if you think back to when Stephen Davis played, they always went on a post. We always had men on posts. Don't know why we didn't put a man on the post for a corner. Or else, if you're going to have like somebody like Robbie Matondo in the park, if he's not going to go in the post, put him up the park. He's got all that pace. Stick a man up that park. I don't know why we need to bring all these wee guys back. And even when Sakala played, we had him back in our box. Get him up the park. They've got pace. And Buckland was coming out and catching everything. So, I don't know, people obviously not listening to us, but man, how not get the fastest guy in the park up the park when it's a corner, especially when he's one of the smallest in your team?
Well, it depends if the booth is open. Like Stevie was standing up front. Stevie?
David, very nice words. Saying me and Southside are refreshing. Well, no, listen, me and Southside will debate everything, and that's what makes it good when I come on with Southside. That's always my wingman. We'll sit up the back of the bus on the way up the Dingwall, and we'll discuss whatever formations and who's going to be this, and we'll agree to disagree, and that's what this platform's all about. It's a brilliant, and it's callers like yourself, David, that can come on and contain himself and show a bit of respect to the wee platform, the guys that run it, and that's what it's all about too. I just thought, look, getting back to the game, look, I want to see Rangers just attack constantly, but you've got to sit back and say, when you're up against better quality opposition, you're going to get squeaky bum times at Ibrox. And it's just fact, and it's how it's going to be until we can spend 50 and 60 million pound in players and 20 and 30 million pound in players and so on. Then we're always going to be punching above our weight. So you've got to give them a bit of credit when they do play no bad and get a result, because we're not always going to get it our way.
Southside's rubbing these voters with Viagra, Stevie, because he's
Oh, dearie. No, Davey, thanks for your kind words, right? But we just come on here. Me and Stevie's just like yourself, mate. We come on and we try and give honest opinion. We critique games and we just love the club and support the club. And as you know, it's a unique platform because everything we do is for free. No, you don't need to subscribe. You don't need to pay money or anything. You can listen to us three talk nonsense for 2 hours, you know. But no, it's I've lost my chain of thought now.
It's real. It's real. What it shows tonight with these two characters, I'll say characters, I mean that.
Can I ask you something?
Aye.
We've made an assertions about how we should have lined up. Okay. And Stevie's got his opinion, I've got mine, and so it's his side. What about yourself? Do you think if we had went a wee bit more gung-ho, that would have been beneficial, or do you think they would just have ripped right through us?
I don't know. You'll never be able to answer that. I get what it looks like, because they did vote as if there's some decent technicians in the side. And what you don't know is if you'd have kept the ball up the park, they don't get the ball down the park, you'll never be able to answer that. And you might have scored more goals, but you might have lost more. You'll not be able to answer that. I would have, when I seen the team last night, I wouldn't have started goals, and I'll be really honest with you, I didn't think he looked fit on Saturday. I didn't look, but I had to doff my hat to him last night. I thought he was my best player. I would put an argument up for Suter, who ran him close, and that says it all. We're two centre halves of our best players. You know, it was never forward players. We've got an issue up the park this now, Davy. We've no settled. They've no gelled. We don't know how good they are. Their numbers are okay. Dessers has scored a couple of goals, made a couple of goals in these minutes on the pitch, and it's grown. Seema come on, he scored 2 goals already this season. If he scores another 2 goals, that's him in the next month. He's one ahead of Ryan Kent for the whole last season. So numbers are bizarre. I think Beale's main job last night in his head was to make sure that we went over there still in a tie. The pressure turns on them. If we can either get the goal or the cloak, the pressure goes on them, and it could be a repeat of last year. Just going back to your point, I've been sent some stats from last year. I don't know if they're correct. I believe they are. Last year we had 55% of possession at home, Southside. So you're right, we did get them. We did have the ball last year against them there.
No, I know games, different teams, and it's different things, but listen. But if you're saying what you're saying, and you've just said there, if you think you got his tactics right, Davey, then basically that will be more or less the same team then you'd expect to go out and play next Wednesday with the same tactics, and hope that they're not going to score early then against us. Because at one point we have to score earlier. At least one goal we'll need to score. One goal might be enough, but we'll need to score, I think, definitely. And you should want to look to score away from him. But I just don't think we created enough chances in the first half. Like I said, 2 errors for them got us in. We got 1 goal at it in the second half, apart for the first minute. In the last maybe 10 minutes where they looked as if they were tiring. And I thought Bale should have made the subs earlier. And I thought Cifuentes should have been off in the first round of substitutions, and he kept them on.
They will never play in a game like that with a pace at the moment, Southside. So hopefully even for that.
They made us run all that first half, because that's what we done. I'd love to have seen their stats after that first half, the amount of running they all done.
Right. Get yourself on mute, because we're going to have a tune, and Stevie, I think it's the Star of Rabbi Bombs.
On Flesher's Haw, down by the Clyde, 4 teenage lads did propose to form their own wee football team. The idea there arose way back then. How could they know that millions they would love the greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. pay those gallant pioneers a legacy they did bestow. We shared down through the years. To Moses and those fine young lads, our gratitude we'll show. We'll sing our song with heart and voice, and let the whole world know. The Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club. Come join as one and toast to all who share our history. Toast William Struth, a noble man, I'm sure you will agree. Lest we forget our absent friends, they watch from up above. In life and death will always be with Rangers Football Club. The Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the greatest in all history, the Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club, the Rangers Football Club.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Right, a bit of luck, all day we'll be going now, south side, huh?
That's a new version of the Star of Rabbi Burns. I've never heard that version before.
All I'll say is if a game next week finishes nothing each and nothing each after extra time we win in penalties, and we don't really need to score a goal. I'll leave it at that.
I think that's highly unlikely, but I'll be honest with you, Southside, I didn't think we would go there last year. And
Oh no, last year was amazing. You know what a night that was.
listen, we played them 4 times in Europe. We've only beat them once at Ibrox, and we've won every time we were there. It's bizarre, Stevie, the stats in it, you know. So hopefully that continues.
Yep. Aye, well, listen, if we can manage to keep the back door shut for the first half of that game, the pressure on them becomes, you know, it becomes heavy duty on them. So it could work in our favour if we did stick to the same tactics as last night and keep the back door shut. And when the game goes on, the pressure, it becomes well on them because they need to beat us after last year. And as you said, if they look at their history, the manager said that. I'm sure their manager mentioned that. The history of the games tells you the same story, you know. So you never listen. It's football. Nearly every game in Europe we are underdogs, apart from obviously like the Sunbets and stuff like that. But games like this, the 50-50 games, we always end up the underdogs, and I love that. I really do love it because I'm telling you now. I think there's going to be. We've scored at least 2 goals earlier.
Oh, you're right. Anyway, we'll be joined by Mitchell. Evening, Mitchell.
Evening, lads. How are we going?
Good to hear from you, mate. Good to hear from you. We've got a bit of time tonight, mate, yeah?
Yeah, that's great, mate. That's brilliant.
Yeah. What's on your mind, mate? Now you've had 24 hours to reflect.
Say that again, sorry.
Now you've had 24 hours to reflect. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, so I think, you know, after my 5-minute chat with you last night about how the performance was, I was really, you know, there was an element that I was still really proud because obviously a lot's changed over the summer and there's been a lot of things for Michael Beale to have to try and gel. You know, there's been a lot of signings, a lot of outgoings, and I thought it was a really positive performance. I still think, though, like I said last night, the defence side of it needs to improve. I'm not sure on John Souttar. I'm not his biggest fan, if I'm totally honest with you. And I still think it could do with a little bit more of a ball playing centre back, someone maybe a 6'5" in there as well. But you know, I think across the board you're always going to want to improve the squad, and I'm sure Michael Beale's feeling the same.
Mitchell Ball, John Southside.
I think we need another big centre back, Mitchell. I think we could be doing with one, probably left sided. I think we probably need look at trying to get, dare I say it, another midfielder in there, and I would try and move at least two of them out. I think Lundstrom, I think he might have a future under Beale, but I don't think I see him in many starting 11s when you're trying to pick your best 11. And I think last night, I know he came on as Oxide later on and he had a wee bit of on the ball, and I thought he was telling people, he got up the park and that, he was pointing at people and sort of telling them what to do. Might not have seen it on the telly if you weren't at the game, mate, but you could see him dictating to people and telling them push up the park. But I think he lacks a lot of pace, and I think they were dead quick last night. And Raskins got a bit of pace, but you could see him getting played round about as well at times last night. And Cantwell's got a bit of pace, so I think him and Jack in there struggle against a team if they're dominating quick 1-2s against you. But Big Souttar, I think, looked really good last night, and I believe I've already said about Golston having a good game as well. So centre back, they know it looks like they two will probably be the mainstay going forward, unless he's going to bring Ben Davies in at any time if he's going to ever go to a back three or he wants to rotate it when he's fit.
I just think for me, I'm looking at those defensive mistakes, if you like, especially from crosses. It's been a bit of an Achilles heel for Rangers for quite a while now, and you know, even going back to Mark Warburton, maybe it's unfair to judge due to the fact that Rangers were still obviously coming back at that point. But I always feel like, in terms of the corners and set pieces, it's somewhere where Rangers have just not. It's never been a confidence thing. Every time that a corner goes for the other team, I always feel, you know, vulnerable. I feel like, you know, there's always a possibility of losing a goal in. It's just really cheap at times. I think as good as PSV were in possession, you know, they played some really good stuff at times, and you can see why they're so high up in the Eredivisie. It was both goals. Let's be right about it. Were totally avoidable if we look at it right. The first one's just ridiculous. I think over the game we saw maybe 6 or 7 crosses come in, and luckily they didn't gamble on top of them. But the two that have gone in, for me, they're unforgivable goals to give away, considering how good of a performance it was overall.
Stevie, can you come, mate?
Well, man, I spoke to Jamie last night at the game, and I said, but a lot of averages, the amount of corner kicks we're giving away, they're going to get something off one of them. And lo and behold, that was probably right, you know. But the caller's quite right. When you do look at the 2 goals, you know, we could have done better at them. We could have done better at the two goals, and it looks like I thought Souttar and Golson had a good game last night. I think we would be a bit harsh if we were to start blaming people, you know, for the performance that they put in last night, the 2 boys at the back. I thought they really had a good game, but you're probably right. We probably do need another centre half. I would say we need another centre half anyway. But a good couple of points here for the caller.
Mitchell, I think one of the trouble was we're 2 fullbacks. 90% of the season we're looking for them to get forward. We know they've got defensive deficiencies, so we expect them to play a different game when we go up a level, and that's hard for anybody because your game's changing. But I think one of the problems was last night, and I think Southside picked up on it earlier on in the show, was we didn't keep the ball as well as we should at the right time. You know you're not going to keep the ball at the time, but we made the wrong decisions. But this team's growing, and I've seen shoots improvement that I hadn't seen this season with the attitude last night. That hopefully can help us drive on and have a decent season, mate.
Yeah, and I think for me, what involves a decent season is the fact that we now start to see, I think, a title. Because at the end of the day, 92 points last season, considering when Michael Beale came in and how many points that we collected, was really good. And I'm not knocking that. I think 92 points is a very good total. Unfortunately, we don't get anything for finishing second. So I think this season, that with the quality that's in now, I fully believe it's a much stronger squad. And you can see that in the Champions League qualifiers as well. I think as a group, they've moulded really well. And Brendan Rodgers goes on about and talks saying it helps not having the qualifying games for us, for Celtic. But I think Rangers should be using that as a positive. I think it gives them time to start bedding in together. I feel like at this stage of the season especially, you want as many games as possible. I hear managers all the time, Guardiola, Jurgen Klopp, they moan about, the amount of games that come up so early on, but I don't think there's a better time to get as many games in. You want your team to be adjusting into the way and the system that you want to play. And I fully believe under Michael Beale's leadership that this Rangers team can push on. I think a lot of the work when Steven Gerrard was at Rangers was down to Michael Beale. And I think a lot of his guidance was because of, the success that we gained was because of him. And I feel like they should have really got more for how much effort and everything went into it. But I'm more than confident that under Michael we can do really well. I think when he left Aston Villa to go to QPR, you saw the deterioration of Aston Villa, and ultimately I think Beale leaving Steven Gerrard's side almost was his Achilles heel in many ways when he moved to Aston Villa. And ultimately I'm pretty pleased with how Rangers are working right now, and behind the scenes I think it's really positive right now.
So said.
I think Mitchell, we're all looking forward to this season. We need to get the bread and butter, and that's the league title one. We need to get back, and obviously we've got a good chance of picking up this League Cup. But we understand that the team's still bedding in, and they're still getting used to each other, and it'll take a wee bit more time. But in Scotland, we should be good enough to be racking up the points now, So yeah. When we get to Ross County, it's a wee tricky ground. It's an early kick-off and all that, but let's not be kidded. We should be beating Ross County. You can't be dropping points, any more points. We've already dropped the points at Kilmarnock. That was a warning sign to everybody. So from now on, we're looking for it to be impeccable as we go forward in the league. And these are the games where you need to go and win, and then you come back to the big European game again. Might do some good that we've got a game, as some of the players have alluded to. They might swap one or two about. I'd imagine there'll be 3 or 4 maybe get changed, but I think you'll keep a nucleus together for Saturday. Mitchell, I don't think you'll change too much.
No, I think.
When you go,
sorry to interrupt you. I think in terms of the Kilmarnock game, it was quite funny watching like Chris Sutton, who's actually quite a good friend of mine, say if they were talking about if you lost, let's say 5 in a row with Rangers after the Kilmarnock defeat, this, that, and the other. But I think even he said to me was the pitch was so dry. I think it's an embarrassment in some ways to Scottish football that we've still got Livingston and Kilmarnock being allowed to play on these surfaces. And I understand the weather in Scotland isn't always the best, and the money side of it comes into it. But I think if you're a Premiership club in Scotland, you should definitely be having a grass pitch. There's not one team in England in the 4 top divisions that haven't got a grass pitch, or if you come up, you have to get it removed. So that's something that you have to consider. The fact that Kilmarnock beat Celtic and Rangers 1-0 at that ground, I think it's nothing down to the fact that the gap in quality, but that Kilmarnock are on that level. It's purely down to the fact that they play on it so regular. Know as good as clockwork how it works, and they can use it to their advantage. I don't want to make excuses, but I think one thing I do think as well, if Celtic do lose a few, I still feel like the relationship's really icy between Brendan Rodgers and Celtic, considering what's gone on. It could, as daft as it sounds, their season could go pear-shaped if they start picking up maybe 1 or 2 bad results.
I hope so, Mitchell.
Yeah, honestly, I've seen these fairy tales happen before, and I've read books just like these before, and let's see. I'm not knocking Brendan Rodgers. I know people won't like me saying that because I think he is actually quite a good manager. But when it's as frosty as a relationship, because I still think it is, I think a lot of people are still bitter about him coming back. I think I think there could be a few changes this season, should we say?
We just have to look after ourselves. That was a problem last year. You know, and it's easy to play football and be confident and score goals when you don't get any pressure. And we never put any pressure on them. And maybe the last 18 months in the league. And if we'd have put pressure on both the managers, this one and the last one, things would have been different. But we've got to look after ourselves. Stevie?
What Mitchell was talking about, the parts there, then the English clubs have got them. I don't think, as soon as you're a Premier League team, you should have a grass part. I agree with him there. But where I don't agree with Mitchell is, I listen to a lot of Rangers fans saying that the park's a bit of a leveller and all the rest of it. I mean, at Murray Park, I think there's about 5 or 6 pitches at Murray Park, and one of them's 3G at Astorturf Park. And they're meant to train on this the week leading up to these games. I don't think it's an excuse at all for us. We should be able to go to Kilmarnock with the experience and the players that we've got in our team and beat Kilmarnock. The only bit of slack I'm going to give Rangers against Kilmarnock the opening day of the season is it was just a new team finding themselves. I'm not making a part of an excuse at all. I'm not making it, but Mitchell's totally right when he says that as soon as you become a Premier League team, you shouldn't have these parts. They should all be grass. Livingston.
I'm going to go even further than that, Stevie. I think it should be the Championship up if you've got ambition for your game.
Aye, that's what I agree with. But I'm not. These are guys picking up 30 and 40 grand a week. They should be able to play in red ash pitches if you're asking them. So that's how I see things. But as far as the Premiership goes, you think the guys that run this league, and saying that they couldn't run them an odds up here. So yeah, these teams should have grass parts, and that should be end of story. But nah, no for me. Nah, the pitch is nothing to do with what you do. It's the same for the two teams, and they're professional football players. They should be able to play in it.
Right, come back, Mitchell.
But
we started.
Yeah, if you think about it though, these footballers, and I know they're on a lot of money, and really based on quality, they should be beating Kilmarnock. But it comes to mind that if Celtic can get beat by them and Rangers, I just feel like it's a different ball game altogether. You can't do your normal slide challenges because the surface. You can't do that. I think it just feels slightly amateurish, and I totally see where you're coming from. I still think they should beat them, and they should outplay them, and maybe finding the feet a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a fair point too. But I am still going to stick by my excuse. There's one lucky thing that we've got this weekend coming up against Ross County. It's probably one of the best pitches in the league, I believe. And I think a lot of managers would agree with me in the Scottish Premiership. The lads up there at Ross County keep it really well. So there's definitely no excuses. You could eat your dinner off this park at the weekend. So, I'm very hopeful that they can go there and get a result. But it's always challenging, no matter the opponent, when you're coming off a European tie that required as much intensity and endeavour to get a result and come out on the other side positively. It's always hard to back it up. But like I say, I think Michael Beale knows why he had to improve the squad, but not just bring any players in that won't encourage the improvement to carry on. But I think the depth of the squad will help going forward. And if you're going to win league titles and go far in Europe, or at least challenge, I think you need a very good squad and well-rounded that can add a lot of quality and push the team on to major success. Which, like earlier, I can't remember who said it, was the bread and butter of winning. But first of all, winning the league title. League Cups are lovely. If we can get the treble, it's a big ask, but there's no reason why Rangers Football Club shouldn't be looking at things like that for the stature. And let's be fair with it, it's the biggest club in Scotland. They had a lot of years out of the Premiership, and Celtic had no opponents playing. They're still not even at the level of Rangers. So I think that speaks a lot of volumes. So it's just ensuring that we, the usual traditions of Rangers Football Club carry on, and we can evolve now and build on what we've got.
Trebles this season are not for everybody, But anyway, we'll be joined by Blue Star. Evening, Blue Star.
Evening, Ox, Southside, Stevie, Mitchell, Old Davy.
Yes,
Evening
sir.
panel. Guys, I'll start off by saying this. Don't take it to heart. I know you won't anyway. But to come out with certain callers are coming on with negativity and they shouldn't be, that's utter nonsense. We critique on what we watch. Some see games differently from others. That's what the show's all about. And that's what we pride ourselves on. If we all the same, we're all made up different. We all think different. We all look different. Thankfully, I'm good looking. Some of you's on there. That's just how it goes. but thankfully, that's what the show's about. It's about opinions. So, I mean, even some of the dross I get on the feed, a certain caller calls me Green Star. I mean, where's that coming from? Simply because you disagree with certain callers? It's all wrong. We're entitled to our opinions. No, I know it wasn't you, Ox. You know fine well who it was. I'll see him myself, but that's another story. But the bottom line is, on the game last night, I'll be truthful. I'm inclined to go along with Southside. Sorry, Stevie. Our manager told us at the start that we were going out to have a right good go at them. We wanted a cauldron inside Ibrox. He certainly got that. We certainly didn't have a go at them. What I will say is, you've got to try and look at it in perspective and say, well, you're up against probably a lot of their players. That's why they cost far more money. We get that. What I would say, in possession in the first half, especially with midfield, I'd cut Cantwell slack because when he got the ball, he was at least trying to advance forward with it. And the south side was right. And Stevie and yourself said it as well. We had 3 and 4 guys on it. So therefore, when he releases the ball, he's inside or he's outside, you're expecting that player to do something with it. There was still too many times they were dispossessed. The misplaced passes in the first half was, quite frankly, it was shocking. What I would say is, directly before we got the goal, there was a minute to go into the break. Canwell beat the guy, dispossessed him, and flew down the right-hand side. And I will say it, any decent striker worth their salt would have. And the point that got me was the 2 centre-halves were completely split. They were nowhere near one another. A decent striker, and McCoy's commented on it. He lambasted him, and I know you've all heard it. He should have darted between the two of them into the box, and he stood, watched Cantwell beating the guy and fizzing the ball across that the goalie couldn't come out for, and he stood and watched it. That was Dessers. Directly afterwards, because the Rangers midfield had then tried to push up a wee bit, their goalkeeper then tried to roll the ball out to the big centre-half. He got muffled with it. Dessers certainly never even lifted his head, just passed the ball back. Fortunately, the big guy, Seema, what a rocket. It was that was a world-class goal. The finish was incredible. And then watched the start of the second half, and it was the same scenario. They were getting all the possession, and fine. I will say it, they're a better team. But I expected us to have more physicality, in the sense that in the middle of the park, that's where I was kind of let down a bit. I thought we're possession-wise, Ox. I thought we gave it away far, far too easily to them. But I'll say this, the minute that he brought Matondo on, the whole game changed in our favour, because the wee guy just done the exact same thing, got the ball and decided to run forwards. And it meant then Cantwell and him, because Cantwell always wants to go forward. Cantwell and then him especially was terrorising their centre-backs, because they can't be used to playing it. Their whole ethos is playing the ball out to 2 wingers, to which our captain, that was easily his worst game I've seen him in 8 years, and I'm not being funny, I will say it. Big goals and pulled him out a whole time and time again, and I get it. He's up against a guy that costs fortunes. Absolutely, I get it. So I'm not sure whether they can go out there and play much better than what they can. I hope they can, but I certainly think we can, because in possession, I still think we've got loads and loads and loads of work to do. But on an overall result, considering the lack of possession that we actually had, 39% to 61 or something, you've got to be happy, because we're still in the tie. And I do believe, and I will give him slack, I do believe that our manager played a team to contain it, which is very dodgy. But I don't want to see that at Ibrox. I'm like Southside, I'm like you, Ox, and I'm like Big Stevie. We want to see our team really having a go. maybe, just maybe, if we'd really opened up and tried to have a go, we might have got cut to ribbons. But on that, the chance that Danilo missed, oh goodness, that's 2 wins we could have had in the last 2 European ties. I thought we were buying better. Yes, we'll get hit with the same thing. You've got to give them time. I'm not sure that they're out-and-out goal scorers, any of the two of them guys. I will say it. In our league, they should be more than good enough to get us up there. I'll say that. We've got a lot of work to do, but on the whole, with the grit and determination that we showed, more than happy with. And I certainly do think with Matondo on that pitch, we're capable of beating them earlier. I will say that without any shadow of a doubt, because the wee guy's searing pace had them tied in knots at times. And his shot, guys, nobody's mentioned it yet. See that shot? The technique for him even to take that at that height, the ball was it. I know he's a wee guy with low centre of gravity. But oh my, can you imagine if that went in? That would have been the best Champions League goal of all time. And I will say it would have been. He was very unlucky. But on him, I will say this, guys. For him, I think, honestly, he changed the whole ethos of the game. We're part of the play and everything. Because the minute you get the ball, at one time they had 5 defenders out in that left-hand touchline trying to circle him. 5 of them. So if we can get a wee bit more mobility into us, well, especially with midfield breaking forward, I think we could be laughing. I just think we're still a wee bit static there.
Cheers, mate. But Matondo, I don't think he'll start next week, but I think he'll come on as a sub.
Neither do I, Ox. Neither do I.
Right, Southside thing.
I know the one you're talking about when he fizzed the ball across Blue Star, but that's it. I thought he was going to go in it. I think he thought he might have tried to cut it back, but as Cantwell was going towards the line, he could only batter it across the goal. Yeah. And he didn't take the gamble. And the whole runner up to just before he nicked the ball, when he tried to pass it and it hit off that boy and it fell to Seamer, but he'd done a power of running Blue Star all the time up there, and because he had nothing to get service or anything like that. Now and again the ball get lumped up and he had to go and fight and battle for it. But we didn't have a lot of possession in the first half, mate. And there's having a go and there's like sitting right in. And I just thought we showed them a wee bit too much respect. No, you could have a go to a certain point, I thought, without going full pelt. Because you could see that at one point of play in the first half, they zipped the ball by 3 Rangers players with 2 passes and they broke up the park and the boy decided to shoot that back Yako or something. He shot directly right at Butland. But we know the team's knitting together. I think Dessers, I think Danilo did miss. When I seen it back, because I knew he did a shot and I know the boy blocked it. But let's not be kidding, the fat boy didn't block it. It didn't even look like it was going to go by the goalkeeper. And that's 2 gilt-edged chances he's had in Europe. And he's not took them. And we've probably paid maybe £3-4 million for him. So you were hoping that he would have took 2 chances. And that's what I made the difference in the game, as you said. If Matondo's goal goes in, it's a wonder goal and that. But on the whole, mate, we're still in a tie, and we'll go there next week. But we've got to get back to winning again on Saturday, mate. And you'll have to pick a team. I think you'll probably rest 3 or 4, and I think we have to go up there and get the points, you know.
Anyway, we'll be joined by William. Evening, William.
Good evening, brothers. Ox, before I start about last night's game, I want to say just a quick word about Stevie and Mitchell were on different sides of the plastic pitch argument. Let me tell you something, Stevie. There is a huge advantage with that plastic pitch, and I'll tell you why I say that. I used to do a lot of closed doors games for Ayr United and for Kilmarnock. There's players that would never play, they would never sign for Kilmarnock because of that pitch. There's players that are good players on grass, and they're only half the player when they play on a pitch like that. They don't want to play on it, they're not good at it. It's a totally different game. And I've seen that many, many times. And that's what I base my opinion on. And the players that sign for Kilmarnock, they're prepared to accept they've got to play on that pitch. Maybe they can't get a place anywhere else, can't get a team anywhere else. They have to accept that. They don't like it, they don't want to play on it, but they'll do it because they're getting paid and that's it. But there's plenty of players in Scotland who would not sign for Kilmarnock because of that pitch.
I have to.
It's a totally different game, Ox. You can't run the same. You can't tackle. How many tackles do you see on that compared to what you see on grass? The ball bounces totally differently. It's just not enjoyable for the players. And in my opinion, in my experience, it's a huge advantage to Kilmarnock. Okay.
There's no way There's no way Kilmarnock go to Celtic and win 1-0. Let's be right.
No, they're going to get
All
hammered.
right,
They're going to get hammered at Celtic. They can put their 6 at the back. They're going to get hammered, and I hope they get hammered at Ibrox, because I've got no time for them. See this 6 at the back carry on. It's just depressing to watch. It's just it's not worth watching. Last night's game, Ox. To be honest with you, last night, Ox, I would have taken a 2-2 draw before the game. Hand in my heart, I would have taken that score. I feel that at times our play was a wee bit ugly. We pushed our luck at times. But I think we did a job. I think Michael Bealey got the job done. I think Ryan Jack, he was a wee bit one-paced. I think he's not back helping out when he could be back helping out. But he knows what he's got at the pace he's got to go at to get him through the 90 minutes. I feel like he paces himself. And Cifuentes, I think he got caught up a wee bit with his lack of fitness. And that left us a wee bit short. I mean, it looked like at times they had about 16 players on the pitch. And they were all getting into a penalty area. And I mean, Dutch football, what I've seen of Dutch football, up close and personal at the tournaments and that, it's all about passing the ball and keeping the ball. Whether you have to pass back or pass across the way, you keep the ball, you pass the ball, and then you look for that wee space, that wee gap. And they're always going to have the big possession, and they're always going to have hundreds of more passes, because that's their style of football. And they're a good team, they're a top team. And we're only 3 or 4 games in. I don't know how many games they've played. We're only 3 or 4. We've got almost a new team, and I think we did really well last night. I was really proud of the players. I was jumping about with that result, and we could have won it at the end.
Right, take a breath, mate. Take a breath.
Okay, thanks.
Just I've had a few texts, and some of the players never signed because of a dodgy referee. Right,
Can I there about the pub?
Stevie, when you come.
I just want to reply. Listen, I'll take if you're experienced in these things. I'm listening to what you're saying, and I'm not going to question that. But I'm going to stick by what I say. We should still have enough quality to beat Kilmarnock.
I agree with that.
Yeah. I'm sure. I'm not wanting to. There's no argument here. I've listened to what you've said. I've listened to what the other boys said. I just think Rangers Football Club should still. Well, how do they not beat us every time we play in it then? If it's that much alert, we won most games on it. So how's that then? How's it a leveler? I just think we should have that much. We should have that much quality in our locker. We should be able to beat Kilmarnock on that pitch or any other pitch. But and that's all I want to say on that. Blue Star, back to you.
Let's go back to last night, Stevie.
Right, on you go.
On you go, Stevie. But let's go back to last night, yeah.
No, last night for me, I agree with the caller. I was proud of the team as well. I was totally proud of the application that we put in. I wasn't happy with certain aspects of the game. I'm very much like Southside. I want to see attacking football, especially at Ibrox. But you've just got to remember about some of the quality you're up against. We're punching above our weight when it comes to pound. But when the amount of money PSV are buying players for £15 million, now that's two players for us, and that's 2 big players for us. That alone, and I don't know how many of them they've got in their team. But the bottom line is, we're always going to be punching above our weight in Europe. And I just thought the application of the Rangers players last night, and as the caller said, and I said it earlier myself, if that game went on for another 10 minutes last night, there was only going to be one winner.
Well, I think that was the positive Southside. I think that was a big positive. I didn't know if that team had that in their lock. What we saw so far this season. They work as hard as that and to stick together, because we have looked disjointed in every game, apart from one half maybe against Servette, either game. First half the first game, second half in the second game, yeah? Mm-hmm. As if there was a team spirit there. Now all of a sudden, it looks as if there is potentially going forward something to build on.
You can't fault the whole team for the effort that they put in and the running at the amount of running they had today. So there should be a bond there between them all, because he's built a team and this is a new team going forward. I just thought in Europe especially, you need to try and get on the ball and make some passes and try and get on the ball. We're at home, but understand, and it's all right saying, well, you said it yourself, Steve, with the money they spent. So when Ox said they were slightly favourites, then you would have to say for the amount of money they spent, the players have got and what we've got compared to what we've just bought in, and there's nothing wrong with saying they were favourites, but you still expect Rangers and believe Rangers can beat them at Ibrox, you know. But aye, it is what it is. We're in the tie, mate, and the players looked like they all fought and battled for each other, which is good to see. It's not often we're going to come up and have to play like that and chase about and be after the ball and have no much of the ball in spells, especially in Scotland. We dominate the ball, but I'm looking for us in Scotland to be on the ball and doing what they were doing to us last night. That's the way I'd like to see my football played with a good end product.
Boy, Star, have we got a problem? I'm going to tell you what I think it is.
I think our main problem in New York's, honestly, you got this one right at the start of the season. He maintained, I'll say it again, he came out publicly and said he didn't need wingers. When you seen that last night, and I'm not having a go at Tav, I'm simply stating the facts because we all watched it. Tav, and to a lesser extent Borna, but it was mostly doing our right-hand side. That boy cut him to ribbons. And in fact, whenever the big guy in midfield, I can't mind his name, whenever he was getting the ball, there was 2 or 3 times in the first half he actually flicked the ball over the tap to put it down in there. And he's just running by Tav. And the minute Tav attempted to get near our halfway line to try and support at all, they were just firing the ball down there. So that's got to be stamped out. As I say, the amount of times Goldson came out of that side of the park and covered for him was incredible. And I'm like you, I said to you the other night, I didn't think, I thought he might have started with Goldson, but he certainly didn't look fit enough. Well, he proved us all wrong last night. Our main problem, apart from that in Europe, and even in our own league now, I don't think he has an earthly as to what his fitment is in our front line. I really don't.
Here's a bizarre problem I think we've got, and I'll take this to you. I'll start with Mitchell. Our best player is Todd Cantwell, and he said that he's an 8 out of 10. He played in a different position last night. It's trying to fit him in, but he's most effective. And it's a good problem to have, because he's a good player. But we need to get him in his best position so he influences game the most. Mitchell?
Yeah, I think with Todd Cantwell, he's got an abundance of qualities. You know, you've seen it not just with Rangers, but when he's on it, he's been on it in the Premier League. He's scored against some great opponents, such as Manchester City, when Norwich beat them 3-2, back under Daniel Farke. So he has got, we've seen it. I just think with the likes of Todd Cantwell, he's such a flexible player. He can play down the middle. And I thought last night, the goal itself for the second one, when Matondo goes on and scores, all comes from Todd Cantwell. Not to knock Dessa's ball across as well, because that was fantastic. But you know, I think with Todd, you can always rely on him to play anywhere. I think down the wing's always been his preferred position because he's quick. He's got high reflexes, really good agility, and he's more of a player that's a bit more of a know-how. You know, we can rely on him to make and create chances. And I feel like he fits into Rangers really well. But like you say, it'd be nice to see him in his preferred position and possibly either start him on the left or the right side. But, you know, full credit to him because you can see he loves Rangers. And I feel like that's the next player that's like the one that's going to be on the social media platforms, if you like, and who the Rangers fans have really adored, if you like.
Southside.
I think because we only had Cantwell and Raskin in the team for the normal squad that we had last year, Mitchell, Cantwell added that buzz and was good up front. He was contributing, scoring goals. Obviously now he's brought in Lammers, who he thinks possibly Michael Beale feels as if that was the type of player he wanted in that position, and he's sort of stuck with it, although Lammers' form had dropped in the league games and stuff, and he was back out the team last night. But Todd Cantwell probably could play as an 8 or a 10, or he could probably play him slightly off the left. He's got, if you can get him on the ball in the right positions, he can be influential, he can be dangerous, and we're looking for him to shoot from outside the box or whatever, to contribute, score goals, and it's probably just getting the balance I don't know whether he'll play the Lammers all the time. It might be that they two have to fight for that position. Who knows? But I think Michael Beale, when you sign somebody like Lammers and they cost about £4 million, I think he'll probably be looking for him to get better and do what he's bolting for and what he believes he can do. So you might find that Todd might play as an 8 to give Lammers a 10 in certain games. I don't know, but if we can fit the two of them, because Lammers has got a bit of skill, he's got good quality, he's good close feet. I've watched him. He's not produced in the 2 league games really. I think he scored at Ibrox, didn't he, in the game against Livingston. Aye, and that's what you're wanting, somebody to come in the box for the midfield and get on the box and score. But he's certainly talented, Lammers, and we've certainly got a talented player in Todd Cantwell. So hopefully going forward we'll find a system that fits the two in, and it'll be fruitful for the club and us, you see.
Yeah, the lucky thing is, one thing that we've got to love about everything is that there's lots of football matches to come, and they're going to come thick and fast. Not everybody will be able to play 90 minutes, and play against PSV 90. Then you've got Ross County 90. Celtic will be coming up soon, and then you've still got PSV to play the week after. So there will be changes, and I think Michael Beale will have that in the back of his head, that there'll be new partnerships to make. And, the one thing that Lammers will bring, like you say, is quality on the ball. And I think he'll bring a threat. It's just going to take time. I think everyone's football supporters always have it in their mind that it's going to click straight away. Goals are going to be flying in, and he's going to produce miracles for the squad. I think this is where Michael Beale and his coaching team are going to come in really handy, because yes, you pay a decent amount of fee for Lammers, but he needs to be coached, and to understand Michael Beale's system, it won't happen overnight. But I'm very sure as the games come thick and fast, he'll be able to adapt and get into this team and prove why the fee was so big for him coming up in the next few games. I'm still confident. I'm just getting these Nikola Jelavic vibes off him quite a lot. So I'm very confident that he can come in and do the business, if you like.
Oxter, do you honestly think? I get absolutely. I concur with what you're saying, but do you honestly think you can nail Cantwell to a certain position? I'm being truthful. I'm not so sure anybody could. I think he's one of these kind of mavericks that just wants to go try and fund the ball no matter where it is. I get what you're saying. There's got to be a bit of discipline, but I think for the halfway line going forward, I think he's the type of guy he wants to roam all over the place. I think that's just him.
If you're playing him like we played him on the last night, it was more on the right side of the front three, wasn't he? And then for a couple of minutes they swapped him. And I want to comment on that as well. I picked up last night as well. We swapped him. However, if I was picking Todd's ideal position, it would be behind the striker, just going wherever he wanted.
I agree with you. Because he's got the ability to be a player and he can shoot as well, aye.
But anyway, and William, what's your thoughts before
well, I was just going to say what Blue Star said. I mean, remember I said to you, Cantwell, he just reminds me so much of Paul Gascoigne. You just put him out there. I think they wind him up with a big key and they press the button and let him go. And he'll just go where he thinks he's needed. You can put him in a position, but he'll go where he thinks he's needed. If he sees a bit of a problem anywhere on the pitch, you'll see him in there helping out. I mean, he's unbelievable. I don't know where he gets the energy. And we say Tav's a right back, but if you look at a heat map, how much time does he spend at right back?
That's a great point you make. And by the way, we got our first corner kick last night. Tav comes out to take it. We move all the people about. And Tav, it wasn't the best of corners. The ball came out and Tav's about 100 yards for positions outside. I bet you watched that last night. It's a frustration of mine.
Aye, I've seen it since the start of the season. Listen, but Todd Cantwell can take a corner, so I don't see what the problem would have been. And normally he was out at the corner flag at one point and we had to wait. I think Borner it was that came out to actually and put an in-swing in, which I prefer, if I'm honest, to put an in-swinging corner in, fair enough. But Tav's he's crossing for most of the time for the corners, hasn't been great since pre-season. And it is a frustration when he's hitting the first man with it. But that's what Michael Beale orders him today, but I'd like to think we've got players there. Surely Lammers could take a corner if he's on the park. Cantwell could take a corner, you know. And if you've also got Bonner, Tav, and obviously if Kieran Dowell's on the park, he could take an in-swinger on the left-hand side. So, you know, but Tav's the guy that bends it in on that side, and it is a frustration opposite. You're having to wait for him to trot right across the park to take a corner.
It's no that, mate. It's if it doesn't go well.
Your gaps left, right, down the right-hand side as well of the park.
Aye, right, okay. The manager last night, big game for him, Stevie.
Certainly was, aye. I would say that's one of his biggest. Servette game was his biggest test of the season, and then that last night, for obvious reasons, the dawn getting into the Champions League. Listen, it takes a bit of stick. Where I get angry with Michael Beale is the substitutes. You know, sometimes you're getting there at half time and you're going, surely that player can't come back. Well, by the way, I was getting Big Seamet tight last night. I was saying, my God, he is woeful. If he comes back, and then and a bang, there's a rocket in the back of the pokey. And then you're going, dear, that's happened the one day. And I don't think I was alone there, by the way, when I was getting Seamet jip, by the way. Half the stadium was getting him jip. But Michael Beale, just the only thing about Beale for me, the new, it's frustrating me, some of the subs, you know, and they can go on all day about his tactics, right? But obviously they're at training every day, they're doing it. He must see something in it if he's still doing it. And I agree with some of the fans, sometimes if it's not working, we need to change it. And he can change it. He's got that in his locker, but just as it is, and now I get back to it, new team, new manager, just finding their feet. For what many games, league games, 2 league games, if we played 3 in Europe or something, give him a chance, man. Give Beale a chance. I mean, they're Robert. Robert's one of the good bears, right? He's one of the passionate bears you'll ever meet in your life. But see for Robert to turn around and say 2 league games into a season, I hate Beale, I'm not going to Europe because of Beale, more or less. That's crazy talk, man. And I think Robert be the first to come on and say he just get carried away a wee bit. But there's bears out there spitting blood for Beale. Give the guy a chance, man. Give him a chance. Give the players a chance. And see, getting back to Blue Star, this is what the platform's all about, different opinions. I didn't mean to say that people can't come onto this platform and have an opinion. All I'm saying is, of lately, some of the different opinions has been over the top a wee bit. And that was like one of them. I mean, get Beale out 2 games into a season, 2 league games into a season. Some of the players, he's a dud. Denalio's a dud. This guy's a dud. Get rid of Seema. 2 games into a season. Something's a bit over the top. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying this show you can't come on and have an opinion. Blue Star, you're one of the guys that do come on, wear your heart in your sleeve and say it how it is. And I admire that about any bear coming on, whether my opinion's different or not about them. So look at me in Southside tonight. Me in Southside seen things different. But believe me, guys, please give the players and please give Beale a wee bit of slack here to be find their feet. See me get to through the season and we're still the same, by all manner of means, get your placards at the ready. It's no my style, but obviously it is other people's. But then you've got your business side of the season, if it's still the same and it's rotten and you're no happy, by all means. But 2 league games into a season, come on, man, give him a chance.
William?
I totally agree. I said it the other day there, Oaks. We've got to give him a chance. Mark Gately. I think we're all probably on this call old enough to remember Ali McCoist. How many chances did he miss? Our greatest goal scorer ever, probably. How many chances did he miss? My God, he used to drive you mad. Missing chances.
I never seen him live, so I'll go to Southside.
Aye, the Copeland Road was telling them where to go. That day, I'll tell you. And Ox remembers it and all, don't let them kid you. But listen, you only need to look at Matondo, who didn't really, he showed a bit of promise last pre-season, and then when we seen him, he wasn't doing very well, and then he was right bombed out, and now people will be thinking he'll probably start maybe next week, and this could be him kicking on. Sometimes players don't get chances to take time to settle, and if he can come in and do what he done last night, then it gives him confidence, and it lets him get a chance in the team. And if he can flourish,
he's got space to run into. That's
well,
his
all
forte.
players will hurt you with pace. We had Sakala in the team where we could knock the ball in behind defenders, and Sakala could go on his bike. And if Sakala go to the edge of the box, he'd normally shift it and have a shot. And sometimes it go in the stone, and other times, as me and Stevie seen that goal at Tannadice when he chased a ball but he was never meant to get, and then flicks up with one foot and volleys it in with the other. A hat trick at Fir Park and that. So hopefully Matondo will have the same sort of impact as we've seen for Sakala if he gets his chances, you know.
Working with him, whether it's psychological wise or that, I don't know. But he looks like a different player.
Hopefully.
Maybe he's grown up. Listen, Mitchell, it doesn't matter how good you are sometimes in football or the opposition tactics. Sometimes you just need a bit of luck, mate.
Yeah, of course you do. And I think in football, in life, in anything that you do, you need a little bit of luck. But I think just going back to the comments on Michael Beale, especially, I think, you know, you don't back a manager in the way that Rangers Football Club have just done, and then think if they had the fans' mentality. I'm not saying everybody, but a few of the minority to just then sack him. I think, you know, we've got to trust in the process of what we're trying to create here. You know, I've spoke regularly about the evolution of the squad, and that doesn't, you know, we have to look at certain targets over a 5-year plan, and we want continuity. By sacking Beale, which sounds ridiculous, but that may be someone's opinion. It's not a sensible choice to make, and I don't think right now there's anyone better to take Rangers forward than Michael. And I think, you know, you look at the squad. I mean, Borna Barisic did, you know, he had a tough test against a top player, a Champions League player for sure in Noah Lang, you know, a very tricky player. And you know, you come up against these teams, and you have to weather the storms sometimes. And I know that fans want them to take the game to PSV, but you're going to have spells in these games where you've just got to somehow, you know, weather the storms, set your stalls out, and almost defend with, you know, with passion and to just provide a bit of quality. But, you know, I'm very sure that Rangers will be competitive in the league. We saw last season the Champions League didn't go well, so we want to be better this time round if we can qualify. But for sure, I've got total faith in Michael Beale, and at times definitely going to need a little bit of luck. But you can't tell me that every time a team's won a league that they haven't had a bit of luck along the way. You've got to create your own luck. That's the bottom line. And you know, when you're winning football matches, you find that it takes a deflection and hits the post and goes in. On other days, you might find that it takes a deflection, hits the post and goes out for a corner. So it's just to find margins and there's a group to keep progressing, really, for me.
Oh, Star, just before we start winding up, what are you making of Butland?
Sorry, what making of what?
Jack Butland.
Butland, I thought he was really, really good. I like the way that he came out for most of the crosses. Ironically, the blasted one at half De Jong's blooming shoulder. I think he probably could have come out for that one. But there was a couple of times before that, and he didn't just come out and punch the ball or anything like that. He came out and grabbed them right out of the air. I've been really impressed with him. Then again, I thought he would be a good gene, but no, he's a big improvement. He's solid at the back, no doubt about it.
Mm-hmm. Are you in the same camp, Stevie?
Butland, brilliant. Commanding last night. Came out a few times and commanded his 6-yard box, took the ball out there. Good, big, strong figure. The difference now, isn't it? We've got a few captains in our team now. Whether we didn't used to have, you could have Butland, you could have Cantwell, you could have Raskin, you could have Golson. There's all different guys now that you say probably could be your captain now. That's the difference in this squad. But Butland at the back, he's breathing confidence into him coming out and commanding his box. You know, it's cutting the boys a bit of slack. He's made a few good saves for us. I mean, that one against Servette, that was brilliant. The one-handed save he pushed out, that's big saves. That's keeping you in ties. That's just as good as getting a goal, that save. For me, Butland's come in and he's been a revelation.
All right. Last word for your good self, William.
Aye, I think Butland's absolutely brilliant. How we get him past all the English Premier League teams, or even the Championship teams in England, they could have paid him probably a lot more than what we can, but we can offer European football. We're a huge club, we know that. But I think he's our best signing by a mile so far. Absolutely. And we were so unlucky last night. Their second goal, as Boystar said, came off his shoulder, right in tight to the post. Unsavable. They were so lucky, and then we got a couple of chances, and we don't get the bounce to the ball. We don't get a bit of luck. Matondo hits a crack, and it's just over the bar. We just didn't get the rub of the green. We might have done over the 90 minutes. We could say we maybe did. But at the death, we could have nicked it, you know. But 2 weeks will do me, and we'll do them over there, as we always do.
Cheers, mate. Great to hear from you.
Cheers, Hawks. Great show. Keep up the good work.
Cheers, mate. Last word for your good self, Mitchell. Always great to hear from you, mate.
Yeah, so, you know, first of all, thank you for having me on as always. You know, all the Rangers fans know how much I love this club. And I know I am a Leeds United supporter, obviously. And, you know, I cover a lot of Leeds on Sky and Radio 5 Live. But, you know, I don't want ever to think that Rangers fans don't think that I love this club as much. You know, I have a lot of affiliations. My grandpa's got a brick at Ibrox, and you know, I hope to get back up there as soon as possible. I can't say that I can get up as much as I'd like, and you know, this weekend I'll be going down to Norfolk to watch Leeds against Ipswich. But you know, I'm really hopeful for both clubs to have a really successful season. But you know, as for Rangers, I think we're getting there slowly but surely. I think it's been a good summer. I think the fans have just got to, you know, keep believing, you know, keep trusting in what Michael Beale's doing. There's a clear plan for me going forward, what they're trying to achieve, and in the end, I believe that Rangers can come out on top this season and hopefully get through into the Champions League, because we know the money and what's at stake, and I think it just provides that bit more stability going forward. But come on, guys, we are the people.
Cheers, mate. Listen, Blue Star.
Let's keep going forward, and as I always say, it's onwards and upwards. It's a work in progress. Just keep getting the wins under our belt, and the team will take care of itself. So thanks for having us on, guys.
Yeah, well done, boy.
Right, okay. Big Stevie.
Brilliant night. Many different opinions. I love a good old argument with my wingman. No doubt the arguments will go on. The post-mortem will go on in the back seat of the bus, get up to Dingwall. And I'm looking forward to Dingwall's, you know, because they do a rare pie up there. I gave them pie of the year last year, the old Dingwall, so it was. And I'll see what like it is this year. Okay, so...
Had to mention pies. Only took you 2 hours, but you got it in there.
Aye. Listen, that's what the football's all about. It's a good day out. It's about Aye. But listen, brilliant show. I'm happy my team's doing well. And I can see, look, they're not all going to be... Everybody will sign's not all going to be a hit. We get that. But time will tell, and just give them a bit of time. And thanks for being on with Southside and yourself and Ox. And all the callers that phoned in were all good. Okay.
Cheers, mate, and you're a puck-up bloke. Southside.
I just need to mention, because I know you've got to have your team in, I think, by Thursday for the last man standing. So
what are you telling me for?
I know. Well, I'm just remembering myself and the rest of the lucky 14s that are still in. So you remember and get your team in.
Are they Commander fans?
But no, I don't know whether you think you're going up the back of the bus after your behaviour tonight. You're still in the woodwind section of the bus. We might promote you later on when we get maybe to Aberdeen or something. No, I thoroughly enjoyed the night. It's good that it's a good platform, mate. We don't always agree, but at the end of the day, we're still in Europe and we get a 2 each draw. And it's good to hear everybody say good things and maybe not so good things, but still positive criticism, mate, and that's what we're all about. But looking forward to Saturday. So me and the big man will be up there cheering on the famous Glasgow Rangers and making Ross County famous for a day.
Come on.
Yep. Yeah, listen, can I thank all the calls tonight? George Logan came in and joined us all day. Mitchell, great to hear from Mitchell for Leeds. Loves the Rangers. Blue Star, and of course, for William. Can I thank the 2 stars for the night? And I've got to say stars. That's the one and only south side of my big
Monsters.
Yeah.
Monsters.
Top boys. Can I also thank Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Without them, the show doesn't work, and they're top men and we need them. I will maybe have a chance to fill you in the Adventures of Fox tomorrow. If not, I'll keep for a couple of days. But listen, this has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night between 8 and 10 talking about all things Rangers. Thanks for listening. And remember, we are the people. Take it away, Old School Blue.